Hello again. I think where we're at today is that we're going to try and get through promos. Let me put some music on a second. See, I always struggle in promos because if I don't have that free win, I find it really hard to just focus because my brain's constantly like, I've only got 2 wins possible here, and out of 3, I'm most definitely probably going to screw it up. So when I'm given a free win, I am so much more relaxed going through promos. Honestly, if you're worried about getting through promos properly, and you fail them the first time, it's actually probably more beneficial to you. We're gonna keep going with Malphite. Maybe we could try someone else. Well, we should. It's probably more beneficial to you to actually fail your promos because it gives you that free win, which is really, really useful. I'm just gonna ban Swain. I've been really struggling against Swain support recently. I think it's because he has that root. He gets really tanky when he uses his R, and I don't know, he's just really hard to deal with. I'd rather go against pretty much any other support right now. Maybe once I work out how to play against him, it'll be a lot better. So my focus on this game is mostly just, let's win this promo, that'd be great. I mean, yeah. We'll see what bot picks. Hopefully something quite aggressive. Does anybody else get it when you're playing games and your parents kind of ring you up or come in and they're like, hey, what are you doing? And you're like, well, I'm playing my game. Or normally I have to agree, I have to admit, I do actually kind of lie about it now and again. They ask me what I do and I'm like, yeah, I'm studying or just come back from work or shopping or something. Because anything is better than them hearing that I play games and them going, well, that's just a waste of time, isn't it? Even when I pursued games design as a career and I tried to use it as an argument. I say, hey, it's actually research. I need to play games to understand them better so I can make better games. And yet, it still doesn't work. I'm sure a lot of you guys have the same problem. I mean, at some point I can understand, especially with children playing games. My little brother is pretty much obsessed with Fortnite, and he kind of has an issue not playing Fortnite. Okay, I'm going against Ezreal Jan. I think Malphite's just pretty good for this pick. But yeah, like I was saying, it's my younger brother is just, he spends so much time on it, but it's not just that he plays it relentlessly, he also tilts really, really hard. And I find that really strange for a young person to tilt at multiple people they don't know, because as a child, I was really shy, and I just don't know, I've noticed over headsets and calling strangers, it's like, people aren't afraid to say what's on their mind, and sometimes, a lot of the time, I feel like it really goes overboard. So that's been something that I've been trying to work on with my little brother, is to kind of pull him away from that. If he's gonna play it, then try and play it with me. So at least I can try and help him to stop flaming so hard. But yeah, so playing games and my parents having a problem with it. It's not a bad parenting strategy. I understand why they didn't want me to play games. It was always, oh, go outside or read a book or, you know, do something productive, learn something. So they started implementing, because I did put a lot of hours into it. I had the Game Boy, was my first ever console, and I played Pokemon Emerald pretty much relentlessly. And I remember my parents getting fed up with the fact they didn't see me for hours at a time, and they're like, right, Okay, you're not having on the weekdays anymore. You can go outside, play with your friends, play with your siblings, and it just caused a series of me learning how to be really, really sneaky. If dad was out to the shops or he's still not back from work, I go into his office and try and sneak in half an hour of playtime. Or sometimes they didn't notice it was missing from the office, so I'd sneak it into bed and play it under the covers. The only problem with that was my sister was a bit of a snitch, so I had to try and convince her, like, hey, come watch me and, you know, I won't get in trouble. Don't tell me off. She was smart and used that to her best of interests. I was not smart. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure everyone's got those stories where parents kind of disapprove of what they do. I was kind of hoping it would improve as I got older. I mean, I love my parents to bits, but I feel the stigma around games has not changed. My mom is pretty sure I'm going to use my degree to turn to child psychology, and I have shown interest in it before, but I don't think I could actually... I don't know. I think I get sad enough when I listen to stories on the news. I think it would really break my heart to listen to, you know, children trying to therapize them and make them feel better. Although that's a really great thing, I feel like their problems are I'm going to make them my problems and put on such a big responsibility and pressure that I just don't think it would be very mentally healthy for me to be a child psychologist or a therapist. But either way, I can do a little bit through games design. I've always been interested in making games that will be beneficial towards children rather than just aimlessly shooting all the time. Although I do agree, Fortnite and Doom and FPS games are definitely fun. I would never ban them of that right. We've got a pretty good team, I have to say. It depends how well the Kindred plays. Sometimes people in Silver really do struggle with Kindred as a champion. I'm going to turn the music up a little bit. Yeah, it does look like they've got pre-mates here. You can normally tell by their usernames or the way they kind of act. Like, if the top is ganking, I mean, if the jungle's ganking top a lot, then it's not a pretty big signal. Ezreal's trying to get some poke off. I'm mainly going to sit around red, help Kindred do his thing, and after that, should be alright. I mean, Ezreal's trying to be a bit adventurous here. I feel like I'm going to ward this because he's going to try and trap us. Yeah. Sneaky. I have to say, in the last couple of weeks, the events of the news have been pretty crazy. I live in a student accommodation and it has a lot of Asian residents in particular and multicultural people. It is really great. I really love learning different languages and about different cultures and religions. The one thing recently, obviously you guys must have heard the coronavirus. It's like the next big terrible disease that's coming to cause the apocalypse. The thing is not, I mean, 56 people have died from it, and it's awful, the effect it's having on Wuhan in China. Wuhan is basically in lockdown right now, actually. Over 3 million people in lockdown. Over 2,000 people have the virus, but only 56 people have died. And I feel like for an epidemic, compared to something like the bubonic plague, I think we can get a handle on it before it gets too bad. But because of that, it's in the news. It tells you where it's traveled. Like, there's been some cases in the US, but most of it is all in China. And yeah, my student accommodation is genuinely freaking out. If you go downstairs or walk around, literally most of the residents have these face masks on. I mean, normally they do anyway, because it's like it filters the pollution from the air, but it's even more so now since the coronavirus thing has happened. And there's posters all over the building saying, giving us information about the coronavirus, when to warn about it or go to the NHS or the doctors. And I do think it's pretty crazy that the scare is just so dramatic. It's so big. Another thing that's just happened recently is the Kobe Bryant death. He was an American basketball player. He was only 41 years old, and the helicopter came down, and he had a family. I mean, it's really depressing really sometimes on the news. Like I was saying, I could not be a child psychologist if things on the news get me down. Because it seems like the news only ever posts bad things, really. I mean, that's why I prefer to watch Russell Howard's Good News. I really, really like comedy shows. I think they're great. I haven't learned much from them because I'm just not very funny. But Russell Howard's Good News basically does good coverage of what's going on, but he makes it worthwhile. He doesn't make it so depressing. Well, I agree, some things should hold its sadness. It's just sad. Oh, respect for those who passed in the coronavirus. And Kobe Bryant, indeed. You know, I was hoping you guys could comment how you were doing in the climb recently. I've been getting a lot of people telling me that they're really struggling with the new system that they did for placements. Because you see, normally they allow you to play 10 games, and it doesn't tell you any score-based things. You just play 10 games, and at the end it will say, hey, you're in silver or bronze or gold. This time they've done it like, I think it is based on MMR. So basically, if you win a game, you get like 60 to 100 points, and if you lose, you don't get anything. There's no promos to go through, so you just kind of skip divisions. But I have to say, I wasn't too keen on. Maybe it was like this anyway, behind the scenes of ranking, but it did kind of annoy me. I don't really like seeing and feeling so much pressure that I have to kind of live up to getting out of bronze. It was such a big stress for me when I got placed in bronze. I can't be in bronze, not again. I was in it 2 years ago. I will never be in it again. Luckily, I did get out pretty quick. I ended up getting placed. Oops. And I did end up getting placed in silver 4. Oh, they're all coming bot now. I literally don't have any mana to do anything. I wish the Fizz had followed. That would have been a help. I can't really stick around. They don't have too much mana. I can try and reduce the minions. It's a little bit annoying when you get ganked like that and the mid lane don't follow. It kind of feels like maybe wasted a bit of time, or they gained something that your team didn't. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. I'm gonna back up now because I need more mana and I need to go shop. Yeah. Looking at the enemy team, I'm still gonna go Banshees first, I think. It's just generally, I really love the item. I think it's a good pick. It's quite solid. And again, like I say every time, it's absolutely fantastic for that spell shield that comes up every now and again. Another item that I do really like, but tends to be on like a tank like Blitzcrank, that isn't very commonly used, is something called Shurelius. And it basically gives you you and your team a massive movement speed boost, and I'm not really sure why it isn't used that much, but it's really, really useful. Yeah, here, Shirelia's Reverie. It's really, really good. So, I mean, if you guys want to try out some experimental builds and tell me about it, that would be great. Maybe in one of my videos I'll do a full movement speed Malphite. That would be absolutely terrifying. I've noticed Garen's been using it a lot. He's building Trinity Force rather than tank, and he's doing a lot of damage. I'm gonna put a ward in there. Janna is very passive aggressive as a champion. Like, she can't offer much to the table until she's at 6 and within a decent team. She's really good at escapes or interrupting, but a lot of people in Silver kind of struggle to utilize her the way they really should. Her shields are generally ginormous, and when I used to play Janna, I used to max them first. I just found it more useful for her to have a massive shield for enemy gankers. It also gives them like additional AD and AP, so it is pretty strong. She's not a useless champion, I just prefer others. I don't find her all that interesting to play. I know I can R in, but I'm wondering if it's worth it to sacrifice my life. Because I most definitely will die as it's on the tower. And he could also... No! Oh my god! I made the decision way too late. Way too late. I am absolutely terrible. Guys, you're watching me to understand what not to do. Do not do that. That was really awful of me. I'm going to back so fast because Ziggs is going to murder me. Yeah, I played that really, really badly. I get that. I don't know if Fizz was talking about going AFK or if he's just going somewhere quick. Oh, the enemies are quickly turning the game around. I would really appreciate if you guys also would like to give me advice on making my videos more tailored to something that you guys would be more interested in. I did not expect Ezreal to do so much damage. I got distracted. I was looking at my texts. It was kind of my fault. Another thing, when you're playing League, try and look only at League. You kind of really have to focus. I get distracted very easily, so I probably should just put my phone under the table where I can't see it or something like that. Yeah, I have a soft spot for Chill Step, honestly. I'm really, really not doing well this game. You don't necessarily have to climb. Like I said, I have another free win after this. It'll be a bit more stressful though because... Eek. There's only one more slot left before I have to redo my promos all over again. The Kindred wants an opening to go in here, but there isn't really one. I'm gonna have to back up, otherwise I'm just gonna die. I mean, I can stick around and support the Kindred, but I'm really not sure how much you can do here. I find the concept of Kindred really, really interesting. Like, it's normally the wolf and the lamb. It's normally the lamb that is in submission of the wolf. But in this instance, it's quite the opposite. The wolf is the one hiding in the shadows, and I find that really interesting. More of an assassin, though. See, when people say FF at 15, I kind of disagree with that. I mean, I know we're losing pretty hard, but that's the early game. We haven't actually had any team fights yet. And I feel like that really determines whether or not you're going to win a game. I kind of have to put a little damage off so the Lee would leave my Sivir alone. Although if he was a good Lee, he would have definitely killed her and then attacked me too. They're going to be looking at Dragon. They're pretty far ahead. We should probably let them take it because we just can't argue it. There's too many of them. They're definitely a lot stronger than us. Actually, the Lee Sin is really low, and now the Ziggs has no mana, which is... But they're teleporting in. This is a really kind of strange situation to be in. Ezreal's really low. And I will take that. Oh, shoot. I really don't like Kennen. Playing against Kennen is so difficult. Honestly. I don't know how to get in here. He did really well, that Mordekaiser. He did a lot of damage. Actually, the Sivir would have helped a lot if she wasn't farming. But it's okay. You kind of have to just relax and understand that everybody makes mistakes. I'm gonna mute chat because I really don't like it when they get funny like that. We've got to basically persist in bot lane until we can do some damage to their tower at least, or unless they really push for the mid lane. They're probably going to go for Herald. If they're smart, they will go for Herald because we're all kind of defending and coming up again. And if they have wards, they will know we are also all around bot lane, and our Fizz is taking a little while to get moving. Actually, I don't know if our Fizz was actually in the game or not. I think we have an AFK. Unfortunately, guys, this happens a lot. You get AFKs in Silver, like a lot. People get tilted really easily and think it's game over. But as you can see, we're kind of catching up actually. We're 5v10. He hasn't actually disconnected, so I think there's a chance he might come back, but that does annoy me when people AFK like that. It's just kind of unfair and it kind of ruins the experience for everybody else. I'm gonna just come in here. I hope the Kindred gets that. Oh man, I really shouldn't have been up there, but I'm kind of feeling a little hopeless now. We have an AFK. Again, like I said, you shouldn't, because you can still win games 4v5 if you're really determined. Ooh. I think I might have a nap after this game. Take a break before I go back into it for my last game. I don't like to make predictions, but I'm not feeling like we've got a great chance at this. Well, lucky for you guys, it's a shorter video than normal. So I'm just going to defend mid tower. Hopefully we can turn this around, but the Fizz gave up pretty early on. That's not very good news for us. Sometimes you can try and prompt the AFKs, but usually they're kind of set in their ways. We're all kind of patrolling around the Herald area. We know it's a possibility that they might want to go for. Mordekaiser's getting in kind of deep. I know he does a lot of damage, but it's quite risky. They have all 5. Okay, he took out the support, so I guess that's good. I can't really get in there because they're doing so much damage. I'm gonna flash. The Herald got me. That last hit, the Herald got me. That's so mean. I'm really not feeling good about this game now. So, it's just unlucky. I was wondering if you guys would be interested if I played other games as well alongside League of Legends. I really like League, and I promise you I will get to gold in the end. But it's gonna happen. It might take a little while, but mostly I just like talking and informing people of random facts. Honestly, the first ever online multiplayer game was actually something called a Mud 1. It's produced and developed by Richard Bartle. Like, he's kind of like the father of games design in a sense. He basically made a textual graphical world, a textual virtual world where it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, if you know what I mean. It has a lot of the features where it's all role playing. Let him take that. There's a lot of role playing and it was a really interesting prospect because they developed it in Essex University. And it was when they had kind of like dial-up connections and everything. MUD stands for Multi-User Dungeon. Should we surrender this? I think we might have to, unfortunately. Multi-user dungeon, and it's basically the essence of everything we have now. America kind of picked up from it. I'm gonna say yes. It's kind of, unless we somehow get Affa's back. America picked up from it. More universities in England picked up from it. The thing I find really interesting is that programmer after programmer student would kind of develop on these concepts and prospects, and then they'd leave university and somebody else would pick it up and develop it, and I always thought that was really interesting. But I suppose in real dev teams it's kind of like that too. Once you've developed and released your game, the live team kind of takes over, and then the dev team moves on to another project, I guess. So it's just the way things are. Honestly, I really feel like we would have had a really good winning chance if the Fizz hadn't given up. So again, guys, like, please don't give up on your team. It's so unfair. Anything could happen. I mean, I know, literally, the Kindred is rather sneaky and sly, but we're just short a member. Let me get Banshees now. The Mordecai's just kind of keeping watch. The Kindred's doing really well, actually. Just kind of wish it wasn't unsupported. I mean, I haven't done fabulously, but I don't think it would have mattered what I'd picked or played. I didn't really get the opportunity to play to my best as Fizz kind of left us. Crazy. I try not to get tilted, and I hardly do, on record anyway, but it is kind of sad when one person lets down 4 other people like that. I'm gonna let it happen. I mean, one of us is feeling very hopeful. They keep voting no in the surrender, so. Alright, I think it was a bit of a shameful game, but well, we'll have to give it another go. Maybe I'll have a go, maybe I won't record some more videos. I might leave it for a bit and see if I can just focus and climb a little bit more. I might release some other videos on some other games. Maybe Legends of Runeterra I've been quite interested in because I have a bit of a background in Hearthstone. GG the Kindred. I'm also thinking of playing the Spyro games through just because I absolutely love it. It's so cute and I have some memories backseat playing Spyro as a child, and I wonder what it'd be to finally play it myself, especially when it's been all updated and reskinned. So I guess that's all for today. Oh, another game I'd like to stream is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Again, I've not played it yet, but that's why I'd like to run through it. So yeah, alright, thanks guys, I will see you soon.